How you guys doing? Yes, we've got an update on Athena's kit. Yes, you heard right. Athena, the one and only, as we've seen today, and we've all rated on our Godforge tier lists here, is getting a rework. Basically, they are changing one of her abilities, and obviously you're going to play spot the difference between the old version of Athena here and the new one, right? And basically, as you've not guessed it, we're going to be talking about this in today's video. I'm going to give you guys basically what I think about Athena, if she's going to be any better, if she's going to be any worse, and spoiler alert, don't worry about it, your hands are still safe with arguably one of just the best beginner-friendly tanks in Godforge's kind of quest rewards that you could be picking up. So smash like, comment, and subscribe. Let's dive into it. Let's talk about these new upgrades to Athena, because the old one, as you will see here, has the exact same basic and core. So just a quick overrun is attack one enemy, 220% defense plus 120% attack. But what's really good is to place defense up to on all allies for one turn. Basically, no matter what, in a pinch, especially with joint attacks as well as an option, you're going to be able to get this up on your team. As long as this is up on your team, you're going to be happy, because obviously then you can potentially withstand massive blows or certain mechanics between dungeon bosses and obviously campaign pushes that you might be trying to go through, right? The core ability is still the same. Place a shield, which is 400% defense on all allies. But what's really good is the free stacks of 5% damage reduction that you get. So you can, again, in longer fights, get this 15% damage reduction and get some long-term value, while maybe in that singular wave that you're playing in, get a 5% damage reduction, quick big shield, and then you move on. But now with the ultimate, and this is one thing which made it kind of crazy, and me, mate, the devs watched my video and said, you know what, yeah, I think that is a bit too mental too. Why not make that a different hero? Because she attacks all enemies and increases the damage of the next ultimate by 3% each time an ally is attacked under shield, which is a really cool ability. And I do hope, if the devs are watching this, that line of text is going to be featured maybe on a future god or hero that comes into Godforge, because that is a really powerful and cool way to potentially play a game with maybe a full team of defenders abusing this and actually getting some damage output while being completely shielded, right? The passive was when an ally under shield is attacked, you have a 70% chance to place a petrify, with the imprint now being the 35% chance to place that petrify while under a shield, which isn't a bad imprint. I'll be fair, you got to think any type of hero like Tristan or Ankh, which are rare heroes, can play shields, and as long as that shield is on you, technically the petrify is online. So you got to think how versatile that kind of is, and even how beginner friendly that passive is. However, we had an upgrade. I'm telling you, this is going to be a shock to everyone, but that line of text in the ultimate got removed, as we probably expected. It was so insanely strong, for me anyway, that a hero could damage reduce, put a shield, defense up to, and increase your permanent damage of your ultimate, which is just sounds crazy on paper, right? Now her ultimate reads, attacks all enemies for 210% and 110 attack. This is 100% chance when you book it to place petrify on each target for one turn, and this is gonna obviously not be resisted now if that target is under any sort of shield. So if you've got this Athena shielded, she hits this, you ain't resisting it or blocking it, which is really good. Really good. It's a guarantee petrify lock, right? And what's cool about that, if you guys don't know, is petrify is a disable that makes them skip their next turn and reduces any of their increase on affinity by 50%. And that is huge. Slowing down anyone's ultimate gauge by half is detrimental potentially to a lot of game plans, and especially strategies that might revolve like recycling ultimates to get these cooldowns quicker, right? With maybe Vivian or maybe an Apollo, for example, right? You can do a lot of craziness with ultimates just on paper if you can cycle them in the correct way. So if you can stop this, as Athena does now in her ultimate, This is quite powerful, a very powerful ability indeed. So now, instead of doing damage, she places Petrify with an 80% chance, which is still really good at level 1. Like, I honestly think this is a really good form of crowd control that you're bringing into a team. And honestly, I think Athena will be that beginner-friendly tank that if you guys pick her up, no matter what, in campaign, in that tower, and in some dungeons as well, she's going to be really good, and even potentially clan boss. But what's maybe after we test it, and obviously as players like myself get more heroes, there might be that one better defender in that area, but she is kind of like the number 2 pick because she's just that versatile at all this different content, and that's what I think a lot of people still want to see, right? Her passive though is kind of crazy too. I really like this passive because it's actually split into 2 sections, which is really important. So the first section is each time an ally is under a shield, you heal for 50% of the damage inflicted to that shield. So you got to think, if you are running an invoker and your team and you get AoE'd by a Fafnir constantly and they keep dropping lower and lower, well, you got to think now, this is going to put the core ability of 400% defense shield on everyone. When that's on now, 50% of that damage that's getting afflicted to the shield is healing you back up. If you've got an Apollo, if you've got an Isolde, right, which can place Mend, or an Isis that can place Mend, again, Mend will over time heal you, and then you could run again Tristan or an Ankh for shields and keep putting this up and basically, you know, heal back up to beginning and kind of take the burden off the healer, because it is one of those things like trying to make your healer fully burst heal your team. It's going to be all about trying to manage that health resource and shield resource to really make things last the long term on it. What's really cool is the second part of the shield, because if the shield is depleted or removed, that means if anyone's ability strips it, for example, like an Ares, this has a 50% chance also to petrify that target for 1 turn. And you got to think, in the imprint, 25% of the damage inflicted to shields is still basically healing the target, and you get a 50% chance still to petrify on breakage. That imprint alone is super versatile. Again, if you randomly found it, I would instantly put it on a Tristan, on an Ankh, on a Brynhild, Heimdall. You could just put it on anyone, realistically, and you get some value firsthand. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's a first-hand value. It doesn't have to be insanely powerful. It might be that imprint that you might use as like a stepping stone until you get to the big imprints that you really do want for your team composition. So honestly, Athena here, before and after, is quite interesting, and I'd love to hear, like I said, your guys' thoughts to Athena's changes so far, because you got to think now, since we've had this change, there is going to be potentially now future changes coming out, which us content creators are going to be able to see, and then give you guys that news and feedback and compare the old to the new. And that does mean, as you guys have guessed it, the whole tier list has changed. I don't know if you guys saw it in the beginning of the video, but I purposely left it here to see if any guys noticed. But Athena, I have bumped up 2 ranks. Basically, she was down here, and I did believe Grendel, as well as obviously like Lamash, are really top tier heroes, and without maybe Vivian and Sun Wukong, they'd be in that top 5 really power shout for maybe heroes to pick up. But now with this actual hero being a defense up on basically on call when you need it, especially with joint attack teams potentially, it's really cool. Having that 400% shield and damage reduction is really massive for just a variety of content to keep you alive. And now having Petrify built into the ultimate, and you heal on shields, she's actually an insanely good hero. Like, she could be potentially up here just because of the fact that she's healing through shields and she's shielding so big. things could get really out of hand. I'm going to be honest, right? So I actually think that's made it even better. Let me know what you guys think to the new Athena, the new changes to this. And again, any of these updates that's going to come in the future for any heroes, you guys have guessed it, check out the channel, smash a like, comment, and subscribe, because I will give you that news. And as things change, I will always keep updating my Godforge quests legendary heroes to hopefully give you guys the best up-to-date advice from myself when it comes to picking your best hero for those Godforge quest summons. So if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do, smash a like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, guys. Peace out.